Brandy. I'm heading to the Parks Mall, Barnes & Noble in Arlington, Texas, to do a haunted Granbury book signing and presentation. The presentation is going to be starting in about 20-25 minutes or so, and then I'll be signing books afterwards. It's all part of an Author Alley event to benefit the Arlington Public Library. So there's going to be a bunch of different authors of all different kinds of genres talking about their books and signing them. So I'm going to be talking to some of the other authors too, and having them talking about what their books are about, so you'll get to check that out. If you're looking for something to read, this is the video to check out. And I'll actually show a little bit of my presentation as well. So I've got my green fingernails, I've got my green dress, I've got my Mulder and Scully earrings made by Hobbitown Jewelry from Etsy. A little shout out for you there. So I think we're ready to talk about some paranormal activity, so let's do this. Alright, well here I am at Barnes & Noble getting ready to set up. I'm going to be talking in just a few minutes, but I just wanted to point this out real quick. They actually have a book called Afterlife with Archie. I think that might be having to come home with me today. Who knows? I'm here talking with Rita Cook. She is my ghost partner for today with the presentation and the signing. She is author of Haunted Dallas, Haunted Fort Worth. What other books do you have? I know you've got several others.
Haunted Bartlesville, Oklahoma, independent film producing, all kinds of fun books. But those are the three important ones.
Here's right? Haunted Dallas. That's what she's promoting today.
All right.
And she also talks about Granbury and the Haunted Fort Worth one, so if you just can't get enough of Granbury, you can check out her Haunted Fort Worth.
That's right.
You also said you're a travel writer.
I'm a travel writer. I travel usually about 3 weeks out of every month, and whenever I travel, I usually try to go to haunted places and check out,
of course,
different places. I was just in Israel, and they didn't tell me any haunted places there, actually, though. Go figure.
I'm sure there's plenty of stuff going on there.
Right.
So that's not the scariest part of it.
No. One of the obviously Europe has a lot of ghosts there, so that's where I find a lot of interesting ghosts and ghost stories is in Europe, particularly in England.
How long have you been writing?
I have been writing for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I write for Focus Daily News, which is in Dallas. I actually write for Waxahachie Daily Light. I'm the editor-in-chief of Insider Magazine, and I write for other outlets like Modern Luxury and 360 West and national publications as well.
So you're not busy at all?
No. I have nothing to do with my life.
All right. Thank you very much for talking to me. This is Rita Cook. Her book is Haunted Dallas, also Haunted Fort Worth, and a whole bunch of others. So just look up Rita Cook, and you can check it out. So.
Thank you.
Now we're here with Kristen Bryan. She's the author of the Mrs. Crawdad children's book series. So can you tell us a little bit about your series?
Sure. I wrote the books about Mrs. Crawdad, which is a character that my sister came up with. My sister had functional disabilities, and she taught me all about her zest for life and her can-do attitude. And she would participate in Special Olympics. She would just inspire me to push yourself to do the very best you can and make the most of your life. Mrs. Crawdad has to come out of her shell, because all crawfish have shells and they mold. So in order to grow, they have to mold their shell, and they have to kind of step outside their comfort zone, because for a while, until they grow a new shell, they have to go without one. And that means feeling a little bit uneasy. And poor Mrs. Crawdad, she does have some disabilities herself, and she can't swim forward. She only can swim backwards, which is what my sister used to do when she was in Special Olympics. She would do the backstroke. So anyway, my books tell a story about my sister's can-do attitude and her lively spirit. She would go on these adventures, and she would just kind of inspire people along the way and other animals along the way to make the most of their life, to do the very best that they can, and to appreciate their abilities.
Good. And what age group are you going for?
It's elementary age, anywhere from, it starts at the kindergarten level on up to 5th grade, and I have a series of books that are shown here that start at the kindergarten level. 2nd grade level is Mrs. Crawdad Gets Homesick. The 3rd grade level is Mrs. Crawdad at Moonlight, and the 4th and 5th grade level is Mrs. Crawdad and the Bayou Bully. So it addresses a lot of the challenges that our youngsters face in elementary school, and all the books have a message about self-identity and how to rise above the difficulties that you might face in life, to reach within yourself and choose to be happy with it.
Good, and then that way Mrs. Crawdad can grow along with the kids too. As they grow, there's a book for them.
And it teaches them to just believe in themselves.
Good, because kids need that. So, okay, well, check out the Mrs. Crawdad series by Kristen Bryan. I'm sure we can't wait to see what you come up with next.
Thank you.
Here now with Linda Boyden. She is the author of Boy and Poi Poi Puppy.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Okay, sure. I lived in Hawaii for 7 years, and during that time, if you live in Hawaii or any of the islands, one of the major problems is abandoned animals. So a dog that is a homeless dog and a dog of mixed breeds is called a poi dog. So, you know, it is a big problem, and I kind of fell in love with the whole concept, right? And I thought, what a good book, good idea for a book. So this is a story of a little boy, a little native Hawaiian boy, and how he convinces his family to let him keep a stray dog.
Well, that's good. Animal rescue is our big cause too. Once you watch more of my videos on here, you'll see there's going to be a lot of animal videos coming later on the channel. So this is a cause that's very close to our hearts. So it's great that you did this.
So when I do school visits or book signings, I always bring my little scruffy poi poi puppy.
He's very cute. He's a very good mascot.
And he's very well behaved.
Oh, of course, yeah. You got to train him right. You know?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now you're actually from California. You flew in just for this event.
I did. I've been lucky enough to hook up with Amanda Thrasher and Progressive Rising Phoenix Press. And this is my first book from them, and my second book from them will be coming out, I hope, before Christmas. It's a story of Roxy Reindeer, the most annoying reindeer of all. Aww, but she means well.
Yeah, that's the important thing is if you try.
So it's been a real treat to come to Texas.
Oh, good. Well, we're so glad you're here and sharing this great book with us. So make sure to check out Boy and Poi Poi Puppy by Linda Boyden. It's going to be great.
And they can access my other books. I have 4 books in print now from my website, lindaboyden.com.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'm here now talking with Amanda Thrasher. First off, I have to thank her because she's the one that put this entire event together today. She owns her own publishing company, and she's the one putting it on. She's the one that invited me. So thank you so much for Amanda for doing all of this great work, putting this on. And of course, she's also an author. She's got several books out right now. And can you tell us about some of the books?
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. I'm an author, I have several titles out. This is my latest release. I absolutely love this book. It's called The Granbury Project. It's about cyberbullying, but it doesn't just address the victim of the bullying act itself. It also addresses how really great kids can suddenly make a split-second decision that can change the rest of their lives, especially using tools such as smartphones and iPads and things of that nature, getting involved with the bullying act itself and how it affects their communities, their friends, their families, things of that nature. It's not gender specific, both big cancers, both girls and boys. So it's targeted towards the tweens and the teens, and it encompasses all things bullying, not just the victim. So it's very important to me. It's a very, very hard write, especially considering usually I write beautiful stories such as the Mischief stories. That's a series geared towards it's like fairy tales, basically, with little life lessons entwined throughout, and it's geared towards first and second grade readers, independent reading, and then of course the picture books and middle grade readers. So it's very near and dear to me because it's such a hot topic right now with our tweens and teens, and the fact that they can get so caught up into that cyberbullying so quickly, it's just, it means a lot to me.
Oh, good. So that is a really relevant topic, especially since this video is going on YouTube, and YouTube is another one that's notorious for people bullying each other on the comments. So we always need to remember that, you know, we're not anonymous. These are real people that we're talking to, and people with real feelings. So it's a really good thing that you're trying to get the kids early to show them the importance of remembering there's a person behind that computer screen.
Exactly, and it's always, you know, it seems to me, especially with the research that I did behind this book, I went to several local schools and football games and spoke with teens and tweens and things like that. It's amazing to me how many kids are involved in bullying, and their parents aren't aware because they never believe that their kids are like the computer screen or the iPhone or text messaging. So it is. It's you know, it's very easy to hide behind technology, and so it's shocking actually what goes on. So was. It was very tough. But I'm glad that we're here. I'm glad that we were able to come off this event and raise money for the Arlington Public Library.
Yeah, it's been a great event, and I hope to come back and maybe check out some other authors at the next event. It'll be a lot of fun. I'll come back anytime you invite me. So thank you so much for doing this. Check out Amanda Thrasher and her books. That's Phoenix Rising Press.
Progressive Rising Phoenix Press and Amanda F. Thrasher.
Right. Okay. I'm here now with Jeanette Vaughn. As you can see, she's got several books as well. So can you tell us about your books?
Sure, absolutely. These books are historical fiction, and the story begins with a woman from the 1960s who learned how to fly a plane and actually stole it in a very messy divorce. And so it's all based on a true story. It really did happen. And so the theme is the New Orleans theme because all the books are set in the New Orleans area and the French Quarter. The sequel, Solo Vietnam, takes the characters to the Vietnam Tet Offensive of '68 because her instructor pilot was a Navy pilot, so she wants to fly too over Vietnam, but of course in Vietnam women were not allowed to fly combat, so she ends up going in service as a USO singer, and that's how she serves over Vietnam. And then the finale, Waiting in the Wings, features the Bach Corsair and wraps up the story because there's some footprints left in the first book. Each book is standalone, but they are a series. So this is the first book, the second book, and the third book.
Okay. So what got you involved? I see you got wings there on your necklace. Do you have family?
Yes, both of my boys fly for the Navy and are Navy pilots, and my dad worked at Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, and airline parts and lines, so I guess that would be the right thing you would want to be. So aviation has always been something that I've enjoyed, and I find the whole flight and the ability to take a plane up in the sky fascinating. So when I got a chance to tell this true story about this woman, I just couldn't resist it.
I see it's won some awards here too.
Oh, absolutely. The first one was a finalist in the Beverly Hills Book Awards and then won 4th place in the Reader's International Favorite Book Awards. And the second one was awarded the Silver Medal by the Military Writers Society and then just won 4th place in the Reader's International.
Great. Okay. So once again, that's Jeanette Vaughn. It's the Flying Solo Trilogy, if you will. And hopefully we'll get to see what you come up with next.
Oh, that would be great. I already have a project waiting in the wings, so to speak. The Marine pilot who I used his manuscript to base parts of the message on this book has actually asked me to write the memoir. So, yes.
I'm here now with Commander Mark Boland. Can you tell us something about your books that you have here?
I write a historical fiction series that follows two boys from South Texas into the Army and into World War II. And so it's a series that follows them initially into Italy, and then to France, and then Germany, Austria, and of course.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so are these related? Or is it a series or is it a separate story?
It's a series, and it basically goes from one book feeds into the next. I've got 3 books out now, and I'm working on the 4th book. It should be out in a couple of weeks. And then ultimately there'll be about 9 books in the series.
And then I see you're a commander of part from the U.S. Navy. I'm guessing you probably used a lot of that personal experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the jokes transcend generations. The misery, the pain, the fun, all of that kind of goes from generation to generation.
Good. So which would be the first one in the series?
The Texas Gun Club, that's the first book. It came out in 2009 from the Military Writers Society of America Gold Medal. Victory Road is the second book. I won the same award the next year, and Live for God and Country is the 3rd book. And the 4th book that's coming out is called Ghosts of the Mountain.
Well, this is Commander Mark Boland. The first one is the Texas Gun Club, so check out this series. And so you can check that out, and thank you so much for your service.
Oh, you're welcome.
We're always very appreciative of that. So make sure to check him out.
Thank you very much.
Now I'm here with actually a man with 2 names, John J. Smith and Jonathan Black in one person here. So can you tell me about your books that you have?
Yeah, actually I have 2 different types of Johns. I have Jonathan Black. It's basically the paranormal. I think this is paranormal romance. And this one here, Chester, is paranormal crime. Okay, so
paranormal is right up our alley, so I'm going to be looking more into this one.
Yeah. Is depending on who the reader is, they may or may not get into this kind of type of book.
Right.
And with that said, I have two other ones. Finding Katie is probably one of my favorites. This is a kind of less romance. It's about the character looking for a sister who's coming out. So it's kind of a mystery. And then Deadly Affairs, which is sort of like Jester, only it's not a paranormal. It's just a crime. Just like the main character is in both of these, so it's kind of serious. And since I hadn't crossed the boundaries of different genres while we came up with that, and then finally they fight. This is an actual love story. The characters dating when they were young, they split up 2 years later, they run into each other.
All right. That's really interesting too, being that you're a male writing romance. You don't think that, I mean, I know there's Nicholas Sparks, but usually you think of romance being kind of a female genre, so it's really interesting. I think it would be an interesting perspective reading it, written from the male's perspective. So.
Yeah, it is fun. I mean, to me, every story I have has some sort of romance in it. For instance, the lead character here falls in love with the guy who saved my life. Okay, so that's how it is. With the Jester, the main character is a detective, and her love life is not good. So for each of the two books, it goes, she starts with the guy where she's having problems, she's breaking up, she's also hating. So, and that's what we get from it. Incorporate what we do for the
Well, that sounds great. So if you're interested in romance, and especially paranormal romance, check out Jonathan Black or John J. Smith, a man of two names here. All right, I'm here now with David C. Hughes and his lovely daughter, Hannah. He's got a couple books here, The Epiphany of Joy and Melted Clowns. I'm wondering if Hannah might have had something to do with this one right here.
I have no idea. She's actually the main character in that.
Oh, really? That was a total. I didn't know that ahead of time. That was a total guess on my part. So, but can you tell me something about your book?
Well, Melted Clowns. Way back when I used to write horror stories, and I still like to write kind of weird, kind of goosebump type stories. And I wrote this little story, Melted Clowns, and I kind of held on to it for a while. And last summer, we were at the beach celebrating my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. And my niece, I have a 16-year-old niece, and she's a tremendous artist. And so I asked her if she would go ahead and illustrate the book. So it took her a year, and this one is about Hannah going to the park. She loved clowns, and the clowns show up, and it starts raining, and the rain melts the clowns. And there's a surprise ending, so it's kind of our story.
I don't know. I could think of clowns being pretty scary anyway. Now having them melting away,
Right.
sounds like a horror story to me. You're still writing horror.
So it's still got the horror element. And so for the kids who love clowns, it works out because they surprise ending. The kids who don't like clowns, it works out well because they know. The Epiphany of Joy is a 3-year project. I went to a men's retreat, a Christian men's retreat, and I actually, 6 months after the men's retreat, God told me to write a book about joy. And I said, because I wrote horror, I said, really, you want me to write a book about joy? And he said, I want you to bring joy to me. And so the last 3 years has been a journey of faith and journey learning about joy. And so it's started to a Christian audience. And it's really my story, because I had no idea, I had no clue what joy was. After starting to research it, I realized, okay, I do know what joy is. I just didn't know that this is called.
Right.
So that's so after that journey, and it's actually the first one of mine, the Epiphany of mine. So the next one that's going to be coming out is going to be the Epiphany of Christ. So it's been amazing.
So I can't wait to see what you come up with next, and maybe Hannah can star in some more books, right?
She will.
You want to be a star?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to be a writer like your dad when you grow up? Is We need more writers. Awesome.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor.
Well, thank you. So it's David C. Hughes, Melted Clowns, and the Epiphany of Joy. I'm here now with C.A. Zarek. She's got a plethora of books to choose from here. I've been looking at these. I'm thinking maybe a young Game of Thrones.
Well, they're
enthusiast.
adult. They're adult.
Oh, it looks adult. Oh, okay. So it's adult Game of Thrones enthusiast, which I would hope if you're a Game of Thrones enthusiast, you are adult. But can you tell me something about the different books you have here?
Sure. I actually write epic fantasy, which is kind of like, it's a quest story. Let's go save the world, magic, elves, dragons, that kind of thing. And then I write romantic suspense, which is cops and robbers and love. And these three actually feature human trafficking as the crime that they're working. And then the two on the corner are Scottish Highlander time travels. And the third one is out, but I just don't have any with me today except my own. And I kind of just write whatever occurs to me, so they really don't associate with each other, but they're in my head.
Wow. And you've got a setup here. You've got your buttons and keychains, and wow,
I've been called the swag queen before.
Is this even yours here? Or
yes.
Oh.
Yes, let's go with the Highland books.
Oh, neat. And of course the tablet here, so
Yes.
got a really neat setup. So how long have you, it must take time to get all of these books out, right? I mean, how
Actually,
long
write pretty fast. I've had 7 releases so far in 2014.
Wow.
Yeah, 7, including the one that comes out in October. I had to think about that. But I have been writing for years and years. I've only been published since 2013. I started really pursuing publishing in 2011. So it took me a little bit of time. I'm a hybrid, is what they call. I have a publisher, like my romantic suspense with a publisher, and then the fantasy is something I do on my own. So I'm self-published as well.
Okay, great. So if you're interested in fantasy, romance, or suspense, especially if you're interested in human trafficking, which is really interesting. It's not something you see too many of in books, and it's a really important issue to be addressed. So it's really
means something to me because I work with kids at both of my jobs, and I work at a shelter, and unfortunately there are a lot of kids who come into my shelter who are human trafficked, so that's why I picked the subject, but it does focus on the love story. It just happens to be that they are after this human trafficking bit.
But it's good that it shows that, because so many people don't seem to realize that it's still a big problem going on. I think people think, oh, that was a long time ago. So
no, it's everywhere. It really is. It really is.
Okay, well, the author is C.A. Zarek, so you can check out all of her great books here. Well, that about does it for my day at Barnes & Noble today. Thank you so much to Amanda Thrasher for setting up this whole event. Had a lot of fun. It was a little bit slow. You never know how things are going to work. So the presentation didn't work out so well, but it was still a lot of fun. Made some great connections, and I can't wait to come back next time. The only problem is, of course, it's kind of dangerous being at Barnes & Noble. It's kind of hard to get out without making a few purchases. As you can see, we got, I'll show off, it's a very cute Boo sign. Boo. That's going to look really neat whenever we do our tables. Boo. And of course, for those of you who are wondering, yes, Afterlife with Archie is in fact coming home with us. So, thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe, keep updated on what's going on. You never know what you're going to see next. Again, it's always going to be tons of random videos. So you really have no clues to what you're going to be watching on the next video. So subscribe, help me out. If you have any ideas on what you want to see in another video, send me a message and maybe I can make it happen. Thank you so much.